Fighting through tears after an emotional tribute to league admin Patrick Taylor, Dan Guerin delivered a redemption drive for the ages to win the Race Center 100 at Australia's Phillip Island. The race marked the first event for the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment since Taylor, a native of Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada, died following a brain aneurysm. The 35-year-old was remembered before the race with a 2-lap salute as race director Jesse Vincent paced the field in Taylor's blue and gray number 81. Guerin looked like a driver on a mission, leading all but 2 laps from the pole. In 2016, Guerin appeared on his way to a win at Phillip Island, but a spin cost him the lead and the race as he came home a close second to Jake Wright. This time, Wright couldn't find a way past Guerin. Guerin's first career road course win propelled him into a tie with Wright in the championship battle. Brian Yazek came home third, fending off challenges from Dustin Wardlow and Michael Goodman. The three crossed the line within a second of each other. Only one major incident affected the race. With 2 laps remaining, Adam Blocker got into the back of Jason Robarge as the two battled for 8th. Blocker continued on, finishing 12th, but Robarge was unable to continue and fell to 29th. James Krahula recovered from an early off-track incident to finish 6th. Andrew Kinsella drove from 15th to finish 7th. Jason Galvin, George Adams, and Ryan Otis rounded out the top 10. Engineered to win, built to last. Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing. HPP's hydraulic braking pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more info on HPP and their products, head to hppsimulation.com. And for more on the Lionheart IndyCar Series, go to lionheartracingseries.com.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think
he missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
For these drivers, it isn't about the largest purse in Lionheart history. It's about keeping the memory of Dan Weldon alive. Any one of the 42 drivers can win, but to do so, they will need speed and determination. Rookies must battle hardened veterans, and all must conquer an assortment of roads and ovals.
On the inside, can he make it stick? He loses momentum. No, he cannot make it stick. Race pulls ahead. There's nothing they touch. The winner is going to be Big Joe. No, it's Stouffer. I called it wrong. He's going to try to close the door out of pit exit, and I think he has to remove.
With the history of double-digit winners per season, the challenge will be harder than ever. Which one will ultimately be crowned Lionheart champion? You're watching the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, the premier American open-wheel championship on iRacing, exclusively on GSRC.
Presented by First Medical Equipment, the Lionheart IndyCar Series roars back to life at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the #NailedIt 150. With wins at Atlanta and Phillip Island, Dandy Dan Guerin looks to become the first driver in series history to win 3 consecutive races. This is round 17 of 24 on the Season 5 schedule, and all the DW12 action comes to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Welcome to Van Hansen's Countdown to Green. No time for nonsense in New Hampshire is the event slogan, and with Dan Guerin deadlocked in the championship points with 2-time series champ Jake Wright, the slogan could not ring more true. Over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the #NailedIt 150 that will immediately follow. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view, it's yours truly, Bill Soups On, joined as always by Sean Crackers Ambrose. In the production van is the best director in sim race broadcasting, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras located, aimed, focused, and zoomed by GSRC's in-house director of photography, Dougie Beard. Considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara DW12 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And now, Crackers, the Lionheart IndyCar Series, they've only come to the Magic Mile once, and that was way back in Season 2 when Tony Lookout Lurcock picked up the win.
And Soup, you know, back then, Robert Bluen actually finished third in that race, making him the highest finisher amongst active drivers at New Hampshire. And folks, before I talk about the track, let me remind you that everything on the Countdown to Green show is brought to you thanks to Von Hansen's Meat Market. Yeah, that's right. Since 1983, Von Hansen's has delivered personalized full service in a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. They offer a large and ever-expanding selection of meat products and menu ideas ranging from casual gatherings to special occasions. For more information, please visit vonhansens.com. Now, Soup, let's talk about this track tonight and set the tone here for what's going to happen here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway tonight. Now, in 1989, it became the first super speedway to be constructed in the United States since 1969. Located on about 1,200 acres, the multi-use complex is the largest sports facility in New England. Yes, they have more seats than the Patriots do.
Wow.
That's right. Now, it features a 1.058-mile oval speedway that will be running on today, and the seating capacity of 88,000, and a 1.6-mile road course that I wish the Lionheart guys would maybe consider at some point, because that's a fun course. The oval's turns are a constant 375-foot radius in length, and they're measured on the inside of the track. Now, the banking here, it's a variable banking, 2 to 7 degrees from bottom to top, 1 degree of banking on the straightaway. So, according to the latest census numbers, the population within 200 miles of this speedway is more than 18 million people. So it has a tremendous reach in the Northeast. But to really get a need for speed, let's hop on board the GSRC DW12 for a ride around New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the GSRC DW12. Without further ado, here we go. Fun little 1 mile flat oval. Really is a challenge in these cars, but I'll tell you how to do it. So going into the corner here, lift out of the throttle just a little bit to plant the nose, back into it full throttle, right about the halfway part, drive it straight out to the wall. This does not drive like any of your tin top cars that you may be used to here. Same in 3 and 4. Lift the throttle, breathe it just a little bit to let the nose set back onto the gas. No shifting at all. You're going to stay in 5th gear for your qualifying lap and probably most of your race. Back down here into turn 1 once again. Try to find a more of a straighter angle, and then don't be afraid to get out towards that wall as well. There might be a little bit of speed out there. Here in turn 3, drive it right in, right above that seam, down into the seam. If you get back into it a little too quick, you're actually going to push out to the wall just like I did right there, down the front stretch, across the line. And that's going to complete our track guide here around New Hampshire. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And there you have a recorded lap around the Magic Mile. Now, Sean, I'm going to go off script here a little bit. We just did a recorded lap. Have you been watching the practice laps that have been going on around there right now?
I have.
We might be in for a lot of fill time tonight, huh?
Well, we could be. I hope not, but this track is really tricky and really fast, and the cars are really close together, and that could. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Let's hope they're getting it out of their system right now. Now it's time. Let's take a lap around the point standings, and it's important to keep in mind that these numbers do reflect the results after each driver has dropped their 3 worst events. We teased it in the opening, and now you can see it for yourselves. 748 points apiece for No Name Racing's Jake Wright and Team #Nailed to Dan Guerin. Wright has 7 poles and 6 wins, Guerin 5 poles and 3 wins, and they are tied. The big mover was Jason Galvin. Despite a relatively mundane 8th place result last time out, the AGR driver is up 3 spots into 7th. The bloom, however, is off the rose for early season point leader Andrew Havakech Kinsella. Now 90 points out of the lead. The Adrenaline Motorsports driver is very much in jeopardy of losing the top rookie honors to Michael Goodman for AGR. A 34th place finish for Australia. In Australia, dropped Kinsella's Adrenaline teammate Chris Stouffer down 4 spots into 11th. And on a personal note, and maybe I'm late to the joke here, but has anyone else realized that when you say Chris Stouffer's name really fast, it is simply Christopher? 2 thumbs up to Mom and Dad for that one. It's kind of my spelling autocorrect taught me that one as I was writing his name down there. In the team championships, just like last round, all 9 teams hold station, but there is news. That same sweet blue-haired elderly lady who recognized me in the supermarket and was so worried about her beloved #Nelda team not being able to hold on to 3rd place because they were now just a 2-man team. Well, she chased me down again, and I had to let her know the news is not good. AGR, thanks to Goodman, Galvin, and George Anzaldo, once again outscored the 2-man #Nailed team of Guerin and Michael Gray by 13 points, 107 to 94, and now the interval between those 2 teams is just 90 points. No Name is safe in the lead. Adrenaline looks to be secure in 2nd. How about Dustin Wardlow, Ed King Tutwiler, and Robert Bluen doing their best to get Dragonfly Racing into the top 5? All right, Sean, how about some of the other race standings we have?
Soup, let's take a look at it now, buddy. Yeah, definitely. Let's get on the standings here. First, we're going to look at the rookie standings and see where everybody's at here. Andrew Kinsella there at the top. Michael Goodman is closing, Soup, 36 points back. And, well, I'll tell you what, with that slide that Kinsella's had here lately, he's got to have to be really careful. Ryan Otis there, 62 points back. He is not out of this thing at all. Scott Bolster a little bit further back there, 211. Wardlow. Boy, I'll tell you what, Wardlow is one of my favorites to maybe win this thing tonight. He could make a jump there on Bolster. Paulson there in 6th. Travis Yankerliner. You look all the way back through the Turnbulls there in 12th and 13th, and we haven't seen them in a while. So hopefully maybe they show up tonight and get back on this championship hunt. We'll see. Now let's look at the manufacturer's standing, Soup, and that's the one everybody wants to see. Toyota right now is solid. Now Chevrolet just 127 points back. Now they just need to start winning a couple more races, okay? And Mazda really kind of out of it right now. The Blue Oval back there in 4th, and Tesla all the way down in 7th, Soup.
And there you have it. Looks like qualifying is just about done. Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's go to the...
we're good. We have plenty of time. I thought we had time. Sean, we've been away for a while, huh?
Yeah, we have. Let's go to the Sim Money standings. Yeah, I saw something that got me off there. My bad. But let's look at the Sim Money standings here real quick. $1.9 million, folks. That was where Jake Wright sits. But about $300,000 back is Dan Guerin there in 2nd. Michael Goodman, another $300,000 back, just about. I'm doing round math, folks, okay? About $7,500 there. Andrew Kinsella in 4th. That's all that separates him there. So Goodman, Kinsella's battling for money, obviously. And there's James Scravula. Yes, the very, very sneaky James Scravula with $1.28 million. Down to 10th, $951,000. You find Pierre Degla. And if I remember correctly, Soup, I think they go into the red at like about 20th or 22nd, I think, back is where that happens. I'm not looking at that right now, but good battles going on here in the standings.
I like the Sim Money. It is a fun thing. All right, now, for new viewers, let's put up the details of the series here, and Crackers and I will talk about some of the highlights as we show those up there. Sean, once again, I want to go to, as we look there, that we have this round 17, and I want to go to point number 6. And that is, once again, about the setups, the fixed setups. How's it feel out there?
Okay, the setup is actually fine, okay? It's not much problem with the setup. Now, in a draft, it does want to push, and you can't flat out this track. You can't go flat out on this track. You could try, and during qualifying, you'll see guys go flat out. But in race trim, that's going to be a very, very difficult thing to negotiate because these turns are so tricky. The setup itself, though, is a setup that the league has worked on with all of its members and agreed upon. It's a good setup. I ran it last night in the practice race. It's solid. It's got plenty of grip, and that's going to be very important here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
The tires fall off much, or is it pretty good all the way through?
Absolutely. The tires are a very, very aggressive track surface. Tires are going to be a big issue. I think you'll see a lot of pit stops tonight. Every chance they get to come in, they'll probably take 4 new ones.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the great prizes that this series offers up.
Oh, soup. $1,800 in cash, with the league champion winning $250 plus a set of these great HPP pedals valued at $1,250 total cash and prizes, somewhere just north of $3,400. And soup, that's a lot of cheese, brother.
Yeah, you bet. How's the weather feel out there for these cars?
You know what? It's partly cloudy, 78 degrees outside, but the track is 106 degrees. So a combination of a very aggressive surface and 106 degrees. You will need tires today. You'll need it more than you need fuel.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the event details now. We'll throw those up to you. The thing that sticks out for me, 150 laps, 150 miles. Now, Sean, they say we can go 42 laps on fuel, but they lie to me every time. Do you think, can somebody get to 50? Can they two-stop this, do you think?
I think cautions are really going to play into that more than anything, Soup. I just don't know that you're going to have to go a full stint tonight. It's going to be tough. We may see a green flag that long. We may get to push it, but again, I think caution flags may be the winner when it comes to fuel strategy this evening.
And let's talk one more thing about fuel. If we do get a longer stint and the tank gets a little light, does that change the handling of the car?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'll definitely free up the transition from the turns to the straightaway. Not very easy here, okay? It'll definitely want to snap on you as the car gets lighter and the tires start to go away. You're going to have to watch that snap, and that very well could be an issue at the end of a long run if we get it.
We talked about Dan Guerin having all those poles. Look at that, sitting up there in the top of qualifying right there with Mahan and Wardlow behind him. Look for the man tied for the points lead, Jake Wright, down there in 6th. So qualifying is just about wrapping up, and they're going to be ready to go racing pretty soon. And when it is time to go racing, you know what? Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com, and qualifying is just about done. So what we'll do is we'll go through the grid as they sit and then talk about our onboard cameras and then also our highlighted driver. Let's go look at the front row. It is Dan Guerin and Woody Mahan up front. Sean?
Boy, I'll tell you what, look at that. Woodrow Mahan gets in here and puts her up on the front row. And then the candy man, Dustin Wardlow, right? The meat man, Bobby Mikas.
Pierre Nightingale in the 5th spot inside of Jake Wright.
All right, and then you get to row 4. It's going to be Joe Branch and Brandon Lemkeman.
Bottom row on your overlay, Ron Hacker and Adam Blocker.
All right, Brian Greenlee and James Grohl on row 6.
Baker's dozen spot, Brian Yasik and Justin Weaver in 14th.
Pete Edwins and Jason Galvin are in row 8.
Next row is Tony Schowen and George Anzaldo.
Christopher Eddie Tutwiler, row 10.
Hidden Blackjack, Jason Robarge and Matthew Mercer in the double duck spot.
All right, and row 12, the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray and Andrew Kinsella.
The Big Joe Show, Joe Hassard in 25th, inside of Vincent Blumenthal.
Row 14, Scott Bolster, David Altman.
Scott Johnson, and then we have the next drivers back there, Robert Bluen, and I'll just wrap these up, Michael Goodman, Chris Lanini, and Jack Bogan. Not sure how many of those drivers are going to race. They were not able to put in qualifying times. We'll find out. Sean, what are our onboards tonight?
Well, let's go first to Dan Garrett and the Dan Garrett and the team nailed it. Hashtag team nailed it. Onboard camera will be riding with him tonight. Probably going to be riding with him all night because Dan certainly looks to be a favorite to win this one. And then we're going to go to Robert Bluen. Next, It's going to be in the Patrick Taylor Memorial onboard camera tonight. Robert there for Dragonfly Racing on the grid, ready to go. He was awful fast in that practice race last night. Look for him to run up front most of the night.
And our highlighted driver tonight will be Michael Goodman. Where did Michael qualify right now?
Well,
if I can
you
find
see
him
him
down
there you see him there on screen, just to the left there in that Ford EcoBoost machine, and he has where is he starting? Michael Goodman starting in 31st. So
yeah, way back there.
I don't know if that was part of the plan, to be honest with you. Michael was looking for a really good qualifying lap, and something must have happened there.
Was not able to put in a time, so I'm not quite sure our car count in total. Bogan is here, Lanini is here as well, Goodman, as is Lewin is also here. So we got a pretty good back there. It looks like about 33 cars taking the grid here tonight. Round 17 of 24 on the Lionheart IndyCar Series, season number 5. And the man tied for the point lead is out in front, sitting on pole. It is Dandy Dan Guerin. Pace car brings him around and now pulls in, and we are ready to go green. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. Dan Guerin takes them down into the first corner, leads the stampede. Dropping in behind, it is Woody Mahan. On the outside, Bob Mike is going to slip into third. The Candyman back to fourth. That's Dustin Wardlow running out your top 5. How about Jake Wright?
Still getting through 3 and 4. Now everybody on the straight suit.
This is good news from what I saw in their little practice starts. They were able to negotiate all the way around. We bring everybody around the first mile. That's 1 down, 149 to go. Working on the inside. Up front, that is Dustin Wardlow trying to make it work there. But on the outside with some momentum, that's Pierre Nightingale. A great battle back there for about 5th position.
Boy, in suit back here, Jason Galvin was really banging on the door of Justin Weaver. Now to his outside. This is a battle for 11th. 2 by 2 going through the turn here.
Sean, from what I'm seeing early on, I think the top side might be the fastest way around right now. If you can get the guy you're racing pinned down to the inside, you get a nice run off of 2 and 4.
Absolutely, Soup. The top lane is really where you want to be. That's where the grip is at, up near the wall, actually. The transition through the turn, a lot easier from up there than it is from the bottom.
So you're looking at that battle there that involves Jacek is in the mix. Greenlee is in there running in 12th position. That's a nice run from Greenlee.
Justin Weaver back there, finally able to get in line up on that top side. Has a little bit of trouble getting off of turn 2. He's got company right behind him, and Ron Hacker.
Look at that right now. Down low, that's that familiar blue and white machine that we've seen so often.
There's George Anzaldo right behind them there, Sue.
Ron Hacker trying to keep the car down low, but boy, there is no drive off of that. You can see Weaver gets the run and gets the position. Hacker's back to 15th, and now peeking on the inside, that's Christopher. George Anzaldo working on top. I hear some bumping and banging. Looks like Vincent Bluthenthal has looped it, but he's off the racing line.
Oh,
he got tangled up with David Altman.
He sure did, and it looked like Vince is maybe starting to come up the track just a little bit there, and he spins it. We do have a replay of it. We'll catch it real quick here.
That's bad news. Not only Bluthenthal spins off, but he doesn't get the bonus of the yellow flag.
Yeah, you're going to see him come off the turn here, and the car starts to drift up the track a little bit, and he just makes slight contact with Altman there. Spins around, doesn't wreck the car, but loses a lot of time and then has to tow.
If you're wondering, no lucky dogs here in the IndyCar, in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, the way it should be.
I said he had to tow, Soup. I'm sorry, Vince did not tow. He's still on track. No damage to the car. He was able to get it righted, and he has got a lot of work to do now.
We're looking at our leader, Dandy Dan Guerin, out in front. He is where he has been the entire time. He's got Woody Mahan behind him. Bob Mike is up to third. Jake Wright has moved up into 4th. Very good racing up front. Now, it won't be long till Guerin gets on the back of Blumenthal. Heard a little more contact back there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
We got a problem. We got a problem on the backstretch suit. Oh, and I think that was Michael Gray with trouble, possibly.
Yeah, up front, Jack Bogan got a piece of it. David Altman also involved in it. But I think it was the yellow car that started the whole thing.
Something happened to Michael Gray there. I don't know if he had a hardware malfunction or something, but that car just started turning right. Either that or he had a tremendous amount of push. He couldn't stop it from going up in the wall. You're going to see here on the onboard, he just drives straight up into the wall there. I wonder if he had a wheel failure or something. Oh, you know what? His connection dropped out, Soup. He disconnected.
Yeah.
Boy.
Unfortunately, he didn't disconnect fast enough before some of the guys behind him gathered him up.
Yeah, that caught a lot of guys. Jack Bogan gets involved in that. He hits David Altman. I'll tell you what, Michael Goodman was really, really lucky to get through that. Let's watch the pit stops now as they come in now. Open season.
Well, but I don't see a lot of guys up in the very front of the pit lane, so that means some of the leaders must have stayed out. Looks like Krahula was the first one in. Not surprising to see James on an alternate strategy.
All right, let's look at the Michael Goodman on board real quick of that mess, because Goodman was able to drive through that without any damage. He was behind it all. We'll go on board with Mike Goodman here in the number 99 Ford EcoBoost DW12 AGR Motorsports. Here he is down there on the inside. You see all heck breaking loose, and he just gets by the spinning car of Jack Bogan in that number 20.
That's good news. Honestly, they give us the little highlight package of the focused driver, and so often we don't get a chance to use it because it seems to be the kiss of death. But Goodman, let's go ahead right now and take a look at it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Mike Goodman here. Good opportunity to do that. Now, this tonight, his 19th start in the series. He's got 9 top 5s. You start doing the numbers on that, that's pretty solid. Top 10s, 11 of them, and that's even more solid. His first start was back in Kansas, back in season 4 last year, and he's got 1 pole position, Dover. That would make you think there at the Monster Mile in Dover, and we come here to New Hampshire, that he should have been somewhere up near the top. And tonight, not a good qualifying effort. Finds himself all the way back right now in 27th place. But listen, we've seen a lot of talent out of this New York driver, and if anybody can get his way back to the front, it could definitely be the Roush Yates power of that EcoBoost DW12 with Michael Goodman behind the wheel. We'll see what he can do here over what's going to be a pretty long race. But Soup, we got off to a pretty good start there. That was actually a much more solid start than we probably anticipated, and that's the best we can hope for.
And real quickly, just to follow up on Goodman, let me give you his results over his last 7 races. A third, then he had this bizarre 11th in Milwaukee, but then he followed that up with a 2nd in Michigan, a 5th at Dover, a 3rd at Atlanta, and then a 5th again last time out at Phillip Island. So that's how you get yourself up the point standings, and that's why he's looking to challenge for Rookie of the Year as he's making a run on Andrew Kinsella. As the drivers work lap number 14 under yellow, I believe we'll probably be going green next time around. Let's see if the lights are off the pace car before I jump that. Yes, so they'll be going green this time. Now, the top 18 cars all stayed out. They did not come in. The first driver to make a stop and come out, James Krahula, Brian Yasik, those 2 guys, of course, Justin Weaver, Chris Stouffer back there. Those are the top 4 guys who pitted. They're running back in 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. But right now, it's Dandy Dan Guerin leading them across the line as we go green. He is working lap number 15. He's followed by Woody Mahan, Bob Micas, and Jake Wright.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Michael Gray does not make it back in. Soup, he's our first car behind the wall here this evening. Hopefully he'll come back, maybe get some points in this evening. He's definitely running for a championship, but another thing to remind everybody, it's a single file restart here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, and they get off to a good one. Cars scrambling for position already.
Pretty good at single file right now from most of them. Let's look at P3. Now, this is on the low side. This is Jake Wright trying to make a run. He's got to be, he's wary of where Guerin is right now, trying to make that inside line work. Now, remember, these guys are on tires that they've been racing on for 17 laps. Look at the drive that Micahs gets in the Von Hansen meat machine. Pulls away from Frank.
Yeah, this is so early. I don't know. If I'm Jake, I don't know if that's a battle I want to fight wheel to wheel with Bob Micahs this early. And you see Jake backing off just a bit, kind of let the race maybe come to him a little bit more here before we start making moves wheel to wheel with a driver like Bob Micahs and his caliber. Back here, battle for 7th of Dustin Wardlow and Joe Branch, toe to toe. Wardlow gets out of it, had to there. He was pushing. Now he makes a run on the bottom here at Joe Branch. Can he pull this move off down the straightaway?
And this is kind of what I think maybe Wright was in a hurry because he sees these guys coming. Let's go up to third right now. Wright makes another dive down low. This time he has a pretty good drive off of 2. They're going to come in this time side by side. Let's see if Jake can finish the job. Right on the inside, your 2-time champion, Bob Micahs on the top. And look at the drive off of 4. And once again, Wright will have to wait. All this going on about a second behind Woodrow Mahan, who's following Dandy Dan Guerin. Guerin and Mahan just out there putting in laps.
Oh, and so we got another caution. James Rahula with a spin coming off of turn 2. Oh, and nobody hits him. Nobody hits James.
Oh, my goodness. I thought that car was going to loop up in front of some of these drivers. The guy who must have really been scared would have been Justin Weaver, as it looked like he was going to come right back up in front of him. Oh.
Yeah, the car just gets loose. You're going to see it here on the replay. He's coming through the turn. Everything is fine, and then all of a sudden it just starts to slide on him a little bit.
Now, Weaver is really late to the party. Look how far he is back. He sees the car spinning, and he's saying, Don't loop back around and come down and get me. Nice job, Justin.
Yeah, it's just, and again, to James's credit, car just got a little loose. Not enough heat in the tires probably yet. Had only gotten a couple laps on those tires. So now we see leaders, though, coming down pit road. Dan Guerin, Woody Mahan, Bob Micahs, Jake Wright, Pierre Degla. Everybody's coming in up front soon.
Yeah, those 18 cars that stayed out, well, they've all decided to come in. Except for Dan Greenlee, always a man who marches to his own drum beat. Has Greenlee made a stop yet? Nope, he's going to stay out there and get credit for leading a lap, I guess.
Who's Sue?
Brian Greenlee, who did I say?
Oh, Brian Greenlee. I thought you were talking about Dan Guerin and you were calling him Greenlee. No, that's right. It's not easy being green there for Brian. I believe it says that on his car somewhere.
Little Kermit on there and back right behind the right behind the fuel nozzle. I imagine maybe Brian might come in this time. Now, staying out behind him, Krahula is out. Remember, they took that earlier stop. Christopher, Yazik, they're all staying out there. Joe Hassard as well.
Yeah, so basically we're gonna flip-flop the field between both of those cautions is basically what we're doing here, Sue.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You have about quite a few cars. Maybe 9 cars or so that are on this pit early, stay out late strategy this time. Then everybody else on the pit the second time through. And then, of course, there is the oddball, the fly in the ointment, the black sheep of the group. That is Brian Greenlee, who's decided he's not going to pit at all this race. He'll run it till it goes dry. So
is it too early for me to rant about NASCAR taking the second date away from this track in the fall?
Well, I think. Let me see if the lights are off the pace car. No, it's still on. Go ahead. We have time for a rant.
Bad decision. I'm going to say it right here, and you know what? I'm going to say it on my own. That's my opinion. But to take a second day away from this track is just absolutely insane. I talked about in the open how many people have access to this track. Okay, that's a hard number to turn down, and what it will do to the local economy here in New Hampshire is just the numbers are incredible. So they really enjoyed having this race. The Whelen Modified Tour runs here twice a year. It was partnered with the Cup weekend. It's just a lot of fun, and this is really a great facility. Now, it hasn't been around as long as, let's say, a Martinsville or even Dover, for that matter. But boy, it is wicked fun. It's fun in this TW12, but it's fun in just about any car you get in around here.
And you see there from that previous shot there, today we have a nice full crowd of two-dimensional fans coming to watch this race. Always happy to see them here. As our leader is Brian Greenlee. He's going to be working lap number 25. He's the only driver who has not pitted. I'm not optimistic for Brian's chances of leading this race long, but there we go.
Go for it, Brian. Go for it, buddy.
Let's see if Brian can actually lead a lap under green. He's got a pretty good jump on Andrew Kinsella. Have a Catch may wait a bit here before he makes that move. Stouffer back there in third.
Boy, now, Big Joe Hassert really pressing the issue on Brian Yazik back here, all over his wing. That's a battle for fifth and fourth.
And now here's the pass for the lead. Greenlee doing a good job of holding off Kinsella. Kinsella had that opening round win, and he has not seen the checker flag first since. He would like to get one today. They go to the round corner number 4. I would think that the momentum is going to be on Greenlee's side, but the traction, the tires are going to be on Kinsella's favor. And sure enough, Andrew Kinsella moves up into the lead. Greenlee does a pretty good job hanging on to second right now. Sean, what about, as we see Greenlee back behind Kinsella, what about the push and dirty air? Is that a big issue?
Yes, sir, it is. You don't want to be... Yeah, speaking of.
I think Brian Greenlee just got a helmet full of it right there. As he pushed up into the wall, Chris Stouffer gets underneath him. Look at Greenlee fighting back, though.
Yes, he is. He wants it.
You know,
my word.
I'd say I've got to give him credit for what he's doing right now. Greenlee doing a great job. What do you got, Sean?
Woody's got a fight going with Bob Mikas right now. Woody Mahan and that plastic tip garage machine has got to back off the pedal. Almost makes contact with Bobby Mikas there, and there's Jake Wright right behind him. Get dipped, baby. That's what it says on the side of Woody Mahan's car.
And we have confirmed that they actually do not put the car on on the trailer hitch and dip it in like a frozen chocolate banana, but they spray it on. But it looks awfully cool.
They're taking that method under advisement, I think.
It's not easy on the upholstery, is my understanding. Looking back as we ride on board with Limpkin right now in the Fire and Ice machine.
And watch him get off the turn here, coming off the exit. Watch what happens to the car. You're gonna see it runs right out to that wall, and you find yourself yanking it back to the left to stay off the wall.
He's looking at the Candyman. The Candyman made a nice run. Dustin Wardlow thought he was going to get the position on Night and Day-Glow, but no, that's not going to happen. That battle continues back there in 16th position. Way up on the high side is the Bakerfield boy, Jason Galvin.
Yeah, another plastic dip garage driver. Now Galvin finally gets it back together. Now make an attack at the Candyman. Can he pull this off on the top side? That seems to be the favorite spot to be, and man, he completes the pass on Warlow.
I got to apologize. I thought he was just out of control, but I think that's his racing line is up top.
Oh, Bob Mikas.
He got together. Mikas got together with Mahan.
Yeah, they're going to make contact in the middle of the turn. Woody Mahan and Bob Mikas.
Ooh.
Jason Robar's going to get collected in that too, unfortunately.
Yeah, and clipping by also Adam Blocker got a piece of it. As you can see, the meat machine getting tenderized by the wall. Here we are on with Mahan. Mahan goes underneath. And now, Sean, we talked a lot about netcode or ghost contact. That I didn't see it there on that one. That looked like a legitimate wheel-to-wheel.
Yeah, no, that certainly was a legitimate wheel-to-wheel. You know who spun on the exit of that? That was Ron Hacker. Actually spun also. I know we're on board with Jason Robarge, but Hacker trying to get out. Man, Ray Jason got hit hard. Hacker trying to get out of the way on the exit of that. He goes into a spin when he made an evasive move, and then he gets collected. That was the Quaker State car. Who's the Quaker State car? There got into that also.
And how this yellow is going to play out. This is good news for Brian Greenlee, who had yet to pit and was going to have to come in fairly soon. So things worked out well for him. As we have a whole bunch of people coming in this time. This group is going to be led by Kinsella. Remember, he was leading. Stouffer, Yazik, Hassert, and Greenlee's going to come out in 5th. Now, of course, these guys are way back in well down. Kinsella's in 13th. Go ahead,
now, Sue, there is an incident limit, and unfortunately, I think we just had a driver get hit with it. I think it was Scott Bolster. I was talking about that Quaker State car. That was Scott Bolster who hit Ron Hacker. And when he did, the car disappeared off screen. And I don't know, Super. Let's look at it on the replay here. Now, again, Ron had trouble because he makes an evasive move to get out of the way there on the bottom. The car spins and then slides back across the track, and you're going to see the car, you're going to see him right there behind him. The Quaker State car gets down on the bottom, and then he makes that contact, gets damaged, it stops spinning, and then it just blanks out. Yeah.
To the Twilight Zone. We don't have the budget for the actual Twilight Zone music, but maybe one day if we land a big race series.
Wow.
So, your leader is now our spotlighted driver, Michael Goodman.
Yeah, and based on what we've seen so far, I think that's where Goodman probably wants to stay for the rest of this race.
Now, we got kind of a little bit of a mix here. Goodman's on a 25-lap stint, as well as Weaver, who's in 3rd, and Bluthenthal. But then you get some guys who have 10 laps fewer laps on their tires. That's Guerin in 2nd position, Jake Wright. So Goodman's out there, but he's going to have to come in pretty quick. They are working lap number 37 of 150. We didn't really talk about, we showed you the incident cap. It's 8 incidents, and you lose 3 points. You get a 3-point penalty. You get up to 12, and it's Rod Serling time.
Yeah, and I just think Scott was unfortunate to get involved in a couple of those incidents earlier. Not by any fault of his own, but everything happened so quick here at New Hampshire.
Pace car is in. That's going to turn it over to Michael Goodman as he comes across the line, working lap number 38. It is Goodman. Then your points leader, Dan Guerin. Justin Weaver, Vincent Bluthenthal back there, and then rounding out your top 5, Jake Wright. Wright doesn't want to have too many cars between him and Guerin.
All right, Soup. Now we do have a statement from Michael Gray checking in with us, the Racing Kangaroo. Said he had slight trouble with the engine there before qualifying. They were happy with the qualifying in the first 9 laps before heavy loads broke the steering column.
Oh.
And so he'll be back to fight another day when we see them next, but not today.
And just so I understand what you're saying, that it broke his physical hardware that he races on, not some magical.
Yeah, Mike's been having some trouble for some time here. They've been rigging it up, getting it to work, but I'm afraid that this track proved to be a little bit too much stress on his wheel configuration that he's got going right now.
duct
think
tape
he had
and
a
chewing gum, yeah.
Yeah, I think he had a bracket break on his wheel or something like that, and so they had to rig something up, and I don't know that it's been, let's say, ideal.
Well, it's hard enough to race, and you have to do it with jury-rigged equipment. Let's look at 7th position real quick. We're looking there at 14th, Christopher. There you can see it. The guy that has really been making the high side work more than anybody is Jason Galvin. If he can get some room to race, let's see what he does right now. As he comes up on the back of Pierre Nightingale. Now, Jason, don't let me down. Keep the same line you've been racing. Oh,
Goodman got off to a tremendous start there, Sue.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he must be part Italian boat because he is gondola. He is 0.7 of a second ahead of Guerin. There we have it. Galvin makes that move again on the top.
Yeah.
I just got a hunch that when we come down to the final stages, Galvin might be good in places that nobody else is. So we'll see how that plays out in that blue and yellow KGET machine.
Kinsella making his charge back here. He's trying to get past Adam Blocker right now. He's got the nose on him. As they head through the turn here, Blocker going to slot in behind Kinsella. Kinsella able to pull that off, get himself in the 10th.
Kinsella leading the way of his batch of pitters. He's in the same strategy. Kinsella is out there with Chris Stouffer a few cars back from him, but Kinsella seems to be fast. Boy, he must have listened to the pre-race show where I was saying the bloom is off the rose for him. He was leading in the points for so much of the season, and then just gradually those veterans ran him down. Let's go up to Galvin again. Galvin now trying to get underneath, this time as he's working on Daigle. Daigle was protecting the top side, was protecting the outside like a park ranger, so Galvin had to go underneath, try to make the low line work. Not going to happen as Daigle is able to hold off that battle for 6th.
In suit right now, the last car on the lead lap is Robert Bluen. We haven't been on board with him yet, but Robert tonight, there in the Patrick Taylor Memorial onboard camera, giving us a view here from the back of the field, and you see all the action up in front of him. This is a man running a very patient race right now. I know he has the speed because Robert was running up front most of the practice race last night, and I think he's got a plan in store here. We'll see.
Well, remember,
looks like he's come in every time.
Bluen is the highest finishing driver of anybody who's ever raced here at New Hampshire. He had a 3rd the only other time they've raced here. So, yeah, he knows how to podium at least, and he's back there just running his own race right now.
Only the 2nd time we've ever raced here, back in Season 2 where we're here for the first time, and now tonight making a return. We'll see what he can do.
Boy, I hate to do it. Let's go to 7th position again, and it's Galvin. Boy, he seems to be dominating the screen right now, but he's in another battle. This time he's in there with is that the Candyman? It is. It's Justin Wardlow.
And here comes Kinsella to the party too, just behind them.
Kinsella is the guy who's on the move. Oh, there's no room there for you, Andrew. He's going to see if he can follow the Bakerfield driver around the top. Look at the drive. Boy, Kinsella is ready to go if he can just find some pavement to put the car, and I think he glances off the wall a bit.
Kinsella, another Plasti Dip Garage driver's suit. Oh, look at that drive. Man. Only thing holding him up was Jason Galvin.
Yeah.
He almost drove through him.
Watch this run. Now, remember, this is a lot of skill and a lot of tires as well. Doesn't get quite the run that he had off of 4. Good fighting going on back there for 7.
Yeah, turn 2 doesn't seem to be working out as well for him as turn 4 is right now as he crosses over Dustin Wardlow there.
That going on.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh no, as Eddie Tutwiler had trouble coming back across the track. He has trouble coming out of turn 4.
Got into the blue and black car of Brian Yazik.
Yeah, and looks like there was slight contact with Joe Hassert that actually set that up. You're going to see his go on board Brian Yazik just up in front of them. Ed Tutwiler in that yellow car. He's going to make slight contact with Big Joe Hassert there in the Arctic Cat machine. You're going to see this. He's going to come up the track, and they're going to bang wheels, and that's what's going to get Eddie off there. And boy, that's a tough break for him. Ed just doesn't seem to have a whole lot of luck. He's really, really twisted up his TW12.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a rough night for him. So, the yellow comes out for the 4th time.
So, Eddie, I think that was the 5th time, Soup, but
mercy.
I've kind of lost track. I'm not really keeping track at this point, but Ed definitely has one of the best-looking cars out here every time. It's generally something different every time, and darn it, if we could just get him to finish one of these things. It seems like, again, he's always in bad luck. But here they come, Soup. Everybody's scrambling for pit road.
Drivers who stay out, Brian Yosick, Joe Branch, Woody Mahan, and Brian Greenlee.
Looks like Jack Bogan stayed out too, and Bogan with 33 laps on those tires. I gotta think he's gonna maybe come in when they come back around, maybe.
What we'll do right now is we'll take a short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be back before we go green. Don't go far. Presented by First Medical Equipment. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series #Nailed at 150 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We are currently on lap 57 under yellow, but we'll be going green this time by. And your leader is Brian Yosef. But Brian, Sean, quickly, his car's not all that healthy.
It's not. You know, he had nowhere to go there on that trouble for Eddie Tutwiler, and he's got some left front damage, and boy, he's going to restart this from the front. Not a bad place to restart if you got damage on the wing, though.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to have some damage, put me out front where that front wing can have the most use. And sure enough, Brian Yosef gets the jump. Joe Branch behind him. Woody Mahan and Brian Greenlee. Now, these guys are all on 23 laps old tires. Dan Guerin is the leader of all the guys who just pitted.
Oh, it's back out. It's back out.
On his lid, Dustin Wardlow.
I think we had our first legitimate case of netcode this evening, and it happened to Dustin Wardlow, unfortunately. You're going to see his car. Well, let's look at the replay again. You're going to see his car just snap for no reason at all. He had a car on the inside of him.
That's Big Joe Hassert on the inside, but they were a half a car length width apart.
That's really a shame here. Look, that car just turns for no reason at all right there.
And then I actually think it got, not only did it get ghost content, and then I think it got ghost straightened out as well.
Yeah.
And then into the wall, my gosh.
Well, either that, it was a great reaction by him,
Yeah.
but Soup, for our viewers and for the guys in Lionheart, I feel obligated to discuss netcode and explain what that might be to people watching this evening who've never heard that term. But netcode is a blanket term for anything that somehow relates to networking and online games. Netcode is a term most commonly used by gamers when discussing synchronization issues between clients and servers. Basically, things get messed up when the client and the server don't talk to each other at the same time. So, yeah, and that happens in iRacing from time to time. It happens here at New Hampshire with these DW12s, and it's a shame to have Dustin's race ended so early like that tonight.
It is part of sim racing, and there's bad luck in real world racing as well. You just have to chalk it up to one of those things that can happen. If the most talented driver won every time, it wouldn't be very exciting now, would it? So that's
true.
all part of racing. What that means is, though, those front four guys are going to stay out there as, again, Brian Yosick, Joe Branch, Woody Mahan, and Brian Greenlee.
Yeah, the only driver right now I'm seeing that took advantage of a pit stop right there was actually Robert Bluen. The Canadian decides to come in and get 4 fresh tires and fuel, and he still finds himself there at the back of the pack, which I gotta say, I think that's exactly where it's to be right now.
I think that's very smart. There's plenty of yellows to come. No reason to get up there. And Sean, you were talking about at this stage, you really got to trust the guys that you're racing with, and being a veteran and knowing the people around you is an advantage. Know who you can trust to race with early on, at least.
Yeah, let's face it, Soup. There are guys that you can race with, and there are guys that you probably shouldn't race with early on in the race. So everybody on their toes. But going back to the netcode thing, when you have stuff like that happening, obviously distance between drivers not always the biggest factor. As you can see, there was plenty of distance between him and Big Joe Hassard right there, and things just happened. So there's a lot of racing left.
Let's go ahead and take an opportunity. We'll bring up the graphic here for the Patrick. There you have it, the Patrick Taylor Memorial Tournament there. We're in the second round, will be called the serve and return section there. Pretty much the first round went according to chalk. A couple upsets in the making. Brian Yosick, if he can hold off Kinsella, he'll be able to move around him. Also there you can see that the number 10 position, I think, of Ryan Otis, who isn't here today, so I don't think Ryan's going to be able to advance. We're going to look at Pierre Nightingale. If he can finish at least 10th position or higher, he should be able to advance. So there you have it. The Patrick Taylor Memorial Tournament, something we do a little bit for fun. And, of course, Patrick Taylor's name is on there. And the field is racing for him. So anybody who didn't qualify for the tournament, trying to just keep Patrick's memory alive. And that's kind of a fun thing that we do around here when the season. We have that in case the points race is not very exciting. But, my goodness, that's certainly not the case in season number 5. As everybody is tied. Up front between Jake Wright and Dandy Dan Guerin, but right now the pace car is in, and all the attention, one more time, is going to be on Brian Yosick. He's on 28 laps, old tires. He's got Joe Branch behind him. Mahan is on the top side. Greenlee well off the pace back there on the low side. Easy there, Brian. Keep it checked up. That's going to let Dandy Dan Guerin get around him for 4th, and now Guerin looking underneath Mahan for 3rd. All this going behind two-time champion Jake Wright is back in the hunt now, racing in 5th. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm watching everything right now. Stouffer manages to get around Vincent Blumenthal. Very, very close wheel to wheel, just looking all throughout the field. Everybody trying to get settled back in here in a racing groove. Woody Mahan up there side by side with Dan Guerin. Oh boy. As they go across the line back into turn 1. Woody Mahan has that preferred line up top. Dan Guerin going to slide it up right in front of him there off the exit.
And you can see in the very back, that's Greenlee on the top side getting loose, letting 2 cars get underneath him. That's Michael Goodman and Jason Galvin. Galvin has to back out. Greenlee doing a great job up top, holding down 7th position. But meanwhile, up front, this is for second position. That's Branch in the yellow car. That's Guerin in the blue and white car below. They almost touch the Pennzoil car on the top side. And it looks like Branch is going to try to hang on. Guerin pinned underneath. Watching the whole thing back there in the black machine is Mahan. Oh, Sean with 67 laps under the belt of these drivers. A lot of serious racing early here. Not even at the halfway mark. Jasek is loose. Jasek spins, and he puts it in the wall from the lead.
He's going to be able to keep it down there. It does not bring out the caution flag. Heavy damage for Brian Jasek. Let's look at it on the replay here, Sue.
You got to wonder if that front wing damage may have had something to do with that.
I think it had everything to do with that, to be honest with you. I really, really do. Back up to the lead.
So now that is Joe Branch in front. Oh, we have a big pileup. We have Limkeman in the fire ice machine looping over. Also taking a ride is Adam Blocker. Both cars land on their wheels, but they were airborne.
Yeah, and I'm afraid it started with Chris Stouffer and Limkeman here. Those two are going to make contact coming off the exit. And Brandon goes for a wild ride. Big Joe Hasser gets caught in that. As you said, Blocker was in the middle of that also.
Stouffer involved. I believe Mercer was able to weave his way through the carnage. Blocker, Hassard, Bluen maybe.
Yeah,
right on board with Joe Gonzalo. What do you see?
He's gonna slip right through this soup, and I mean right through it and under it. Watch what happens here from his cockpit. Man.
You make the where do you? Oh my goodness!
They were flying all around him.
All right.
Let's go back. Yep.
Pit stop time, and it looks like our top Blumenthal is in. Let's see who's come in here. Joe Branch, I think, is the only Branch. Mahan, Greenlee.
Yeah, and you've got Scott Johnson, Chris Lanini, Robert Bluen in. Everybody else in working on repair. That'd be Limkeman, Big Joe Hassard, Adam Blocker, Brian Jasek, of course. A few of those cars, I don't know if a few of those cars are going to be able to come back out. We've already got cars down on the apron in fuel save mode, Soup. They're not setting up for a pit stop. They're saving fuel down there on that apron. Yes, sir. Strategy, big strategy coming into play here. Guys like Dan Guerin, Jake Wright, Michael Goodman, Jason Galvin is sitting there with 16 laps on that fuel tank here as they come around the start-finish line. Soup, they can do this in one more stop with a couple more caution flags if they play this right.
The guys who are pitting now, guys like Joe Branch, you're saying, right? Mahan and Greenlee. These guys who have come in, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we go to lots of different tracks. We shuffle up. We do ovals. We do roads. We race for a long time. This is round 17 of 24. You would think that certainly things would get shuffled up and you wouldn't expect to find things as they are. But look who's up in front. It's Dan Guerin and Jake Wright. I think this is a case of the cream rising to the top.
Boy, and I hate it for the group, because right now they're down to 20 cars on track already, and the attrition here has been heavy. Soup. Maybe a couple of those cars can get some repair and get back out on track, but boy, if you're off pace here, it's not a good thing, and if you're not handling, it's even worse. We saw there with Jasek, and it looks like Jasek's in the chat. We'd be happy to talk to him if he wants to come over for an interview here during maybe one of these cautions. Looks like he didn't really realize he had front wing damage, I think is what we're seeing here in the chat.
Oh, that's interesting. Should have been listening to the broadcast.
Right? Yeah.
One of the things to keep in mind as the herd thins out a bit, and now we're down to 20 cars, that has ramifications about yellow flags. The fewer cars you have out there, the fewer yellow flags you're going to have. It's like the old joke that my white sheep eat more than my black sheep. Well, why is that? Well, I got more white sheep. That's kind of how yellow flags work as well. But right now, the pace car is pulling in, and it is the two drivers who are tied for the points championship, Dan Guerin and Jake Wright, running 1-2. Michael Goodman, who started from the very back.
Yeah, he knew something, didn't he, Sue?
Our spotlighted driver racing back there in third position. Sean, we say it every week, it seems like, but we've been waiting for Goodwin to get his first win. Maybe today is the day.
You know, George Anzaldo had a prediction before this race started that we would see a first-time winner tonight. He may be on to something.
So that's your top three.
There's going to be some surprises at the finish.
And to be honest, we've done a pretty good job of setting the table here for you, because look back there in fourth is a guy we've said to keep an eye on. That's Jason Galvin. He likes that top side. Dropping a little bit off of Goodman, though, having trouble keeping pace right now. All these guys on the same pit strategy.
Oh, so craziness going on back here for 12. You've got Bogan, Branch, and Woody Mahan. Bogan and Branch just almost clipped each other. Woody Mahan, trouble coming off of turn 4. I think he got a piece of the wall there. The three of those cars just scrambling right now. Woody having trouble, I think. Maybe got a little bit of damage on the right side that could be affecting his handling.
And if you're scoring at home, this battle, Branch and Mahan back here, these are the guys that are on that alternate pit strategy, along with Greenlee as well, that maybe can do it on one more stop. But right now, they are not really worried about saving fuel. They are racing. Look, if we can watch Branch in that yellow car, he's able to negotiate. He gets around the Goodyear Valvoline car of Jack Bogan. Now on the high side, look at that number 4 machine. That's James Krahulan, the Patriot Fire car, running in 10th. He's on the high side. Now he goes to the low side, going underneath George Anzaldo. Like a hot knife through butter. Go, Sean.
Anzaldo having a really solid run here so far, and now in the top 10, being chased by Tony Schowen. Got a run at him. Schowen has to back out of it. That brings Bogan back into the picture here. Joe Branch now slides up the track into that upper groove. It's crazy.
Let's go to second. Here comes Michael Goodman trying to take a peek on the inside, working the low line on Jake Wright. Now, Wright will get the good drive off of 4. This is a little bit of reconnaissance racing right now on the part of Goodman, trying to feel him out. Where can I make the move? He loses a little bit momentum, and he falls back into the clutches of Jason Galvin. Now here he comes again. Goodman has a good run. He's going to dive it in deeper than Confucius in a submarine. Takes it in deep. They are side by side through 4. Can he get the drive off? No. And now he's in jeopardy of losing the spot to Galvin, who loves the top. They get it sorted out. Oh my goodness, Michael Goodman took that car in and made it stick.
Brian Greenlee back here trying to take a position away from Jack Bogan, not going to work, and actually Joe Hassert, wow, he gets by Brian Greenlee in his pursuit of Jack Bogan, and boy that was so close. They almost made contact. It almost ended for both of them. Hassert, of course, had trouble on that last one. He's got a little bit of damage on the car, but he's still rolling.
Looking back there at the battle all through the field. Boy, if you're one of the fans who came to see this one, there's fighting everywhere. Action, 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 no matter where you look. So how are those drivers doing that took that late pit stop? Well, Joe Branch is running in 12th. What he might want to do is just tuck in and see if he can go one stop from here. He'll need maybe some yellow flag help, we're thinking.
Yeah, and Anzaldo doing a great job of hanging on to this 10th spot. Really, I mean, they cannot get around Anzaldo right now.
We ride on board with the series organizer, looking back at Tony Schowen.
Yeah, George's been able to keep these guys in their mirrors since we got restarted. George started 18th, now in 10th.
Joe Branch in the yellow car tried to make a move on Shaw, and he had to back up. Almost got into the back of Woodrow Mahan. Out there. Looks like Woodrow has shortened his name now as he's Wooden, as we're looking at Showen.
Yeah, Showen gets by George. George finally relenting and giving up that spot. Joe Branch gets his position too. George sliding all the way back to 12th.
And at the back of this little group, we haven't really given a lot of talk about Scott Johnson, but right now Scott running in 14th spot, working on Woody. Johnson back there trying to find a way around Mahan.
Oh, here comes Woody on the inside of George Anzaldo. We've got Wood. There he is.
Ew. And Woody not able to clear him. Woody's saying, you got a friend in me, let me in here. And he does. Anzaldo back to 13th. Here comes the guys behind now. Watch out for Jack Bogan. Oh, what great racing back here in the back half of the field.
Scott Johnson in that mix in the Besida Bar and Grill machine. Oh, almost gets wheel to wheel there with George Anzaldo.
Oh, my spidey senses are tingling back here. Something's going to go wrong soon. The car in the middle. That's Lanini. Oh, Lanini tries to find a way not to bump into somebody. That was Hassard. No, it was Hassard in the middle.
It was Big Joe Hassard was the meat in that sandwich. Lanini almost the one that it ends for there, but he did a great job of hanging onto the car. Well, Anzaldo really in a fight here with Scott Johnson.
One of our longer green flag runs, and I can't believe that it's happening compared to the action we're seeing. Let's go to P5. This is Degla out in front in the blue and the yellow and black car, or the citrus-colored car. Kinsella on the inside. Once again, that high side is the way to go as you get the momentum. This all taking place behind Galvin in fourth.
All we've seen Kinsella do tonight, Soup, is just continue to pick up positions. That's it. Boy, this fight he's having with Michael Goodman for Rookie of the Year is going to be really, really good. If they finish this close to each other tonight. Oh, we got a caution, and I'm afraid it was George Anzaldo. Oh, no, George Anzaldo.
Scott Johnson got into his left rear. Or Anzaldo came down on Johnson, depending on your point of view.
And I'm afraid that wasn't a netco. That was pure contact and going to send poor George up into the wall and around. That's going to be tough to recover from. He's going to be able to come in and get the wing replaced, but I think he's going to have some structural damage that's going to make that car a real bear to drive.
Riding on board with Scott here on the inside.
Man, Soup, I expect to see this whole field come down pit road here.
Yeah, I would think you'd have to, although I still think we are one stop away. You come in, you're going to need one more stop, a splash and go.
Yeah, but not if we get a couple more cautions. That's the thing, Soup. I mean, really, at this time by, there's going to be 56 laps left. If we set that window on a
42, I don't know, buddy. That's a lot of caution. Here they come. Somebody who decides to stay out. Woody Mahan. And why not? Brian Greenlee as well. Worked before for him.
Yeah, now they've only got 25 laps on their tires. Okay, both of them on the same strategy right now, Woody and Brian.
I'm kind of on board with this. If there is indeed going to be one more stop that everyone has to make, what they'll do, they'll just stay out till they get inside the window to do it on that final stop, and they'll come in there. Now look at this. Jake Wright, his stop was in the box for 7.2 seconds. Guerin was in there for 7.9, and Jake Wright has jumped Guerin. And Guerin is way back. Something has happened to Dandy Dan. I hit the pit ribbon wrong or something he's saying, and I think he got a speeding ticket.
Think so. Brian Greenlee decides to get out of line and come into the pits. And Dan makes a huge mistake, Sue.
Oh. That. Keep this moment in mind right now. 8 races from now when we are in the final at Fontana. This could be your championship right here. Dan Guerin makes a mistake coming down pit lane. He's got time though, Sean. He's fast and he's got 54 laps to get up there. What he needs to do now is just put that behind him and salvage a decent finish. Don't try to get it all back. In poker terms, as I'm a poker player, it's called being on tilt. When you've had the best hand, but the cards just didn't fall right for me, and you lost a lot of chips. You got to settle down. Don't try to get it all back in one shot. I put my bookies' kids through college with that philosophy.
We were talking about that guy.
Yeah.
Interesting little tidbit about tonight's race. It's kind of monumental, I guess. Pierre Degla, he's making his 70th start tonight in the league. He's been around for a while. I think, if I remember correctly, Big Joe Hassert is the all-time leader in race starts. Maybe tied with somebody, but Big Joe, certainly a rock of consistency for showing up for these things for quite some time. Remember, where was Joe at? Okay, this is his 89th start tonight. He leads all drivers with 89 starts in the Lionheart IndyCar Series out of the active drivers.
Seems to me the 70th anniversary is, I think we decided that was Oaken. I think we learned earlier on in the season. So you're lucky to be married for 70 years. By your spouse, a set of wooden teeth. Pace car is in.
Look at Woody Mahan go. Woody Mahan looking to lead a lap in this race, Sue.
Woody Mahan out in front. Now remember, he's on 28 lap old tires, so I don't expect him to hold off two-time champion Jake C. Wright. Of course, the C stands for championship. As here he comes. Diving to the inside. It's Jake Wright. I think he should be able to finish this off.
And look who's there in third, Sue. See that Andrew Kinsella guy getting dipped. He's dipping it down behind or under Woody Mahan there. It's a couple of get-dipped machines.
What Mahan wants to do right now, just race out there, hold as many positions as he can, make it tough on these guys. Protect that outside line like he's doing. He gets a good run off. Yes, he'll have to make a stop. He's looking for a yellow to come somewhere after the next, I'd say about 9 laps. Then if a yellow comes, he'll be good.
Jeez, talk about cream rising to the top. Look at all these guys up here in the top, basically top 10.
So where is Dan Guerin, you might ask? Well, he's back there in 15th spot. That's not so bad.
Not so bad. No, I mean, he's still got just a lot of work to do, and he's kind of in a hornet's nest back there. Got to be careful, Dan.
Yeah, he's been out in front the whole race. He doesn't know what he's in store for when he gets back in there with Johnson and Luthenthal and those guys.
And he's got him racing really hard right up in front of him. That's something you got to worry about just a bit. Big Joe Hassert wheel to wheel with Vincent Luthenthal, Jack Bogan in that mix. Bogan trying to follow Big Joe around this track. Not a bad idea.
Look at it. Let's stay on this battle and just report that it's Wright and Kinsella up front. Mahan hanging on to third. Right on board with Jack Bogan. Panning back, looking at Blumenthal on the inside. Our director doing a good job of panning that camera back. Blumenthal doing a good job of trying to find the inside line. just not going to work here today. The top side is the place to be. Let's go to Ford. This is Degla in the citrus and black car on top, making a move on Galvin. He gets it done.
Boy,
Let me correct myself. That he's fending off the position. This is Galvin trying to get the spot. Oh boy!
Man, they are fighting in awful close quarters right now.
2 words for both of those guys. Net code. And Degla able to get the best of it.
You know, and Jason Galvin coming off a really, really big win in the real world last Saturday night. Oh, he's sliding off the turn there. He had a win at his local track there in Bakersfield.
He did?
Yes, sir, he did in his modified, and it's a big week. He had that checkered flag tie on that Monday, buddy. Congratulations to Jason, man. That's
I
a
did
big deal
not
for him.
realize that Jason Galvin has real world track experience. Good for him.
Yeah, he's been running an asphalt modified all season.
Right now, he's racing in 5th spot, just ahead of Goodman. We ride on board with Michael. Remember, Michael qualified back in 32nd position. Didn't even qualify, but gridded back there, trying to get underneath Galvin right now.
And boy, Galvin really seems to be struggling on exit. I think everybody probably is at some point during this race. But right now, he's really trying to keep Goodman out of the picture.
Okay, there are 42 laps to go. Woody Mahan has been out there for 39. He's right in that little window where he's about to run out of fuel, but if a yellow were to come now, he'd be able to make the stop and go the distance from here. Right now, he's thinking about ribbons around old oak trees, rivers in China, and cowardice. He needs something yellow.
Tony Orlando, maybe?
There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
And he just might get it behind. Let's look back. We look at this Galvin and Degla battle. Degla up there in the citrus and licorice car on the top side, protecting the top. Galvin dives it in deep. Boy, but he's not going to be able to make that stick, is he? I think he does. Can he get a good bite off it, too? He does. This is Galvin's best chance now, as he has a half car length lead going into 3.
You see Pierre Degla fighting the wheel off of these turns.
Big Joe Hassard has just had an off. I think there's not going to be a yellow flag. He just had a mistake.
Yeah. He gets the wall coming off exit and then brings it down across the track onto the bottom. I think he might have taken a little bit too much damage there. Coming in very, very slowly here into the pit.
That was the yellow flag that Mahan was hoping for.
Boy,
it's White and Kinsella out front. Go ahead.
Galvin and Pierre still just, man.
My goodness,
guys.
we were able to go and we were able to check back on Big Joe Hassard. We come back and they were kind enough to keep the battle going.
These guys racing so very hard. Suit with 37 laps to go. It's breathtaking for me. I'm just gasping at every turn.
Mahan ahead of them is on his 44th lap. He's got to be coming in pretty soon. Praying for a yellow flag right now. Goodman in 6th, watching the show that Degla and Galvin are putting on. One more time, Galvin takes it in deep. Gets a pretty good drive off of 2. He's about a half car length back as they go down into 3. Now can he make the yellow and gold car, or the blue and gold car stick down there? Off of 4, that's where Degla is really good. There goes Galvin one more time. This time he gets really loose. He has to back out. I think he's going to lose the position now to Goodman. Goodman with momentum. Yep.
Oh, here's a pass back here. Soup Justin Weaver trying to make a pass on Tony Schowen to get that 8th spot.
Schowen in the red car. Weaver in the white car.
In that Moby Dick seafood machine.
Moby Dickies.
Moby Dickies, that's right. Let me get that right.
They're watching right now. Everyone, hold up your glass. And here comes Woody Mahan. He ran it as far as he could. We talked about the herd thinning and the field getting smaller and maybe longer green flag runs. Mahan's got to be shaking his head. Where was the yellow?
Oh, and Degla actually gets a piece of the wall coming off of 2. Again, he's continued to fight the wheel on his DW12.
We look on that. I don't think we're going to go to a replay on that one there. He just glanced off the wall. Now, let's keep in mind Mahan. He is not out of this yet. He was running 3rd. He's going to get fresh tires. What he needs now, when he was hoping for a yellow, now that's the last thing he wants. He needs us to stay green and hope that Wright, Kinsella, Degla, Galvin, all the guys up front have to come in and make a green flag stop as well.
Can we play a game of Where's Waldo? Or we'll call it Where's Dan Guerin?
Where's Dan Guerin?
Yeah, Dan Guerin right now fighting wheel to wheel there with Chris Lanini. Boy, and really tough sledding for him right now. He's got a battle going now with Vincent Blumenthal.
Just got around Lanini. Now he can try to make the top side work. He's going to, oh, careful, he's going to duck it right in front of Lanini. Chris does a good job. I don't know if he lifted, but he left room for Dandy Dan to get in there. Now Guerin on the inside. The car just will not bite off of there as Blumenthal able to hold him back for that battle for 12th.
Dan back there threading needles
Uh-huh.
at 200 miles an hour. Think about that for a second. 200 miles an hour on this tracksuit. It's crazy.
The front 2 cars continue to be Jake Wright. He is 0.8 of a second ahead of Andrew Havaketch Kinsella. What's going on for 3rd place? Has that thing settled down yet? I say no.
No, not
Galvin,
even.
boy, trying as he must. Sean, that can't be great for Galvin's tires to keep ducking it down in there and making it work. It's got to be tougher, wouldn't you think?
Oh, he's killing him. He's absolutely destroying those tires. Yeah.
Look at the fighting going on. Let's go ahead and check in on our onboard camera. Let's go to Robert Bluen racing in 16th position. We haven't talked much about him. And how about Matthew Mercer? You can see just ahead of him in that blue car in 15th. A couple guys having a couple good runs.
The Dragonfly Racing driver, Robert Bluen here with the Patrick Taylor Memorial onboard camera. James Grahula coming in the pit suit.
All right, now there's the first taker of that batch. What?
Sensing possibly there may not be another caution and decides to get her in there.
What Mahan needs is another 10 laps of green flag racing. I would say Jake Wright is out there 31 laps on this stint.
I love it. Brian Yazik out in the chat giving crew chief pointers here to our fans. You keep it up there, Brian.
Brian Yazik, if you've never had a chance to listen to a GSRC broadcast when Brian Yazik is in the booth, that's really entertaining as well. He's very good. Love working with him. Uh-oh, here comes Guerin in now. They're all starting to bite.
Hopefully he's got someone else in control of the pit limiter.
And the battle between Galvin and Degla has finally ended as the licorice and citrus car comes in, the 14 machine. The no-name racing car of Pierre Degla comes on in. How long can Jake Wright keep racing? He's on lap number 33 of this stint. Kinsella being able to start gather him up now. That gap was 0.8 of a second. It's now down to 0.5 a second.
Kinsella has the same problem, though. He's got a pit.
So now let's see. Guerin is out. Let's see how he's out in relationship to Mahan. Mahan is racing in 15th spot right now. He's the leader of all the cars that are good to go. Just ahead of Krahula, Degla, and Garrett. That's the order of the guys who are done with pit lane. Jack Boken tells flight control he is coming in.
We still have a lot of cars that need a pit stop, Soup. Right now, it looks to be, I'm seeing maybe 15, 16 cars still need to come in.
Now keep this in mind. Wright is out there racing on old rubber. Mahan came in and got that done. He should be faster. He is a lap down. I believe my timing and scoring, I can actually give you an interval to Mahan. He is actually 31 seconds down. A lap time is only 21, so he's a lap and 10 seconds down, basically. But he's on fresher rubber. He should be faster.
Yes, he should, Soup.
Wright's last lap, 23.2. Mahan's lap, 22.8.
Oh,
he is
Scott
faster.
Johnson's around. Scott Johnson's around on the exit of 4. The caution flag is out. Oh, boy.
Oh, and Pierre Degla. He must be French because he had an eye full of that one. Watch this.
Boy. Oh, man. Degla's just going to get by. But Scott Johnson, the car just comes around on him. I think he might have lost a little bit of grip there. Old tires, Soup. Very light tank. He was at 38 laps.
Horrible news for those guys who have pitted like Mahan, Krahula, Degla, and Guerin. They needed it to go green for a little while longer. They were a lap down. They'll stay out. The leaders will come in. They'll come out. They'll be on the lead lap. They'll get cycled around. But the problem is they'll be on older rubber once they get that wave around. Good news for Wright and Kinsella, who needed to come in. Galvin as well. You want a good indication of how this plays out? Watch where Galvin is in relationship to Degla. Remember, they were battling. Degla pitted early. Now here they come in. Now Wright only qualified 6th. So his spot will be a little farther down pit lane than usual, but ahead of all these other guys. Joe Branch in the yellow car will pull in right behind Wright. Galvin is out, and look at this three-way battle. Looks like Wright's going to get out first. Galvin is going to jump Kinsella. Sean, one way to have a fast pit stop is to take less fuel.
Yes, sir. We're seeing a lot of that up and down pit lane.
I would think that these guys, with as long as they raced, I would think they were probably had to take a lot of fuel. Although they really didn't, even though their tanks were empty, they only needed to take 17 laps worth. So it wasn't a full stop for them.
Yeah, they could have probably got it done with, about 3 to 4 gallons.
And then, was that enough to get tires go on pretty quick on these things? I would think probably enough time to get fresh rubber. So here's how it plays out. We believe that Jake Wright is going to be your leader, even though he's shown in second place right now. Okay, well we have Chris Lanini. Now, Chris Lanini is your leader, but
and I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. I really don't. He's been out here for almost 40 laps, and he's the leader. But
does
he can't make it?
Does that change who's behind him?
Well,
Guerin, see, if he stays out, Guerin doesn't get the wave around. So that's
I mean, Lanini, really? I guess he's got nothing to lose by trying this, but...
So Degla will get the wave around, as does Krahula and Mahan. Guerin has got to just be furious right now.
I don't know if he's furious, but he's certainly disappointed. And Lanini just apologizes to him on the radio. And Dan responds, "That's
Yeah.
racing." So
You can-
a despondent and dejected Dan Guerin.
In the words of George Costanza, you can stuff your sorries in a sack. I think that's what's going on right now.
I forgot that one. Yes, that's true.
So, well, we still have 14 laps to go. There is no guarantee that we're going green from here. So, your leader right now, for the time being, Chris Lanini on a 40-lap stint. In theory, if we had a rash of yellow flags, he could be our winner. Lanini gets a good jump. So who's behind him? Dan Guerin running in 16th position.
Yeah, and back here you got Jack Bogan fighting with Jake Wright.
Bogan on the top side, right underneath. This is really the battle for the lead back here. This is between Wright and Galvin. Galvin trying to work underneath Bogan, not going to happen. Wright has cleared him. Kinsella, who was right behind Wright before the pit stop, has now been relegated back behind Galvin. They're coming at you.
Kinsella almost a victim there. Galvin was coming up the track, and boy, they almost touched. I was so close, but now
I like
Kinsella
this.
able to clear him.
Kinsella got a great run on the top side. Will get the momentum. Now he's right behind Wright. Look at the run. Caution is out.
Oh boy,
George
Pierre.
Anzaldo.
Boy, and both cars just get loose on the exit of turn 4. It was like a tandem spinning there. Both of them break at the same time in two different lines on the track.
Might have got a little bit, Degla might have got a little bit of contact with Krahula. This is Krahula in the white car on the inside, whether it was contact or net code. Here they are right there. Then that causes Degla to spin, and then Anzaldo sees it, and they do a little bit of synchronized spinning.
And you know what? I think, and our director alerting this, I think Dan might have got his lap back there before the yellow.
Yeah.
He is. Dan Guerin back on the lead lap.
Now this actually will play out in his favor now, because he can actually come in and get tires. He's going to be at the back anyway. He can come in and get fresh rubber for these final 10 laps. I don't think it's going to cost him much track position-wise. And with 10 laps to go, and the talent of Dan Guerin, and fresh rubber, I like those combination. All this Lanini staying out.
Lanini's probably trying every trick in the book right now to save fuel.
This is what I like to call Cinderella staying late at the ball. Trying to stay out here, hoping that it doesn't ring 12. And that beautiful number 992 machine turns into a pumpkin. Guerin does come into pit. Can Lanini milk it for 9 more laps? He has the cushion of Jack Bogan between him and Jake Champion Wright. Kinsella was able to negotiate his around Galvin, so now Habaketch has the man he's after right in front of him.
Okay, so Chris, they're betting against you out there in the chat, buddy. Nobody seems to think he can make it.
46 laps is what he's gone right now. 8 more miles.
Well,
What he needs to do, Sean, is go really, really fast so he gets there before he runs out of fuel.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when you're in your car, when you're in your regular car, and you're pushing it low on fuel, and then all of a sudden you feel it burp, you feel it chug, and you're like, oh, you gun the throttle because you hope it'll just coast as far as it will. And you just get it up to speed. Maybe you'll make it into that gas station that's about a quarter of a mile up the road on the right that has a hill just in front of it. So, yeah, boy, good luck here.
You gotta love the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Always puts on a good show. Chris Lanini out there right now. What he needs is more yellow. I'm not sure even under yellow he has enough to get there.
Yazik is just killing it in the chat right now. Says he would trade his kingdom for a thimble of fuel right now. Okay, Soup, the lights are out on the pace car. You know what that means.
What time is it, Sean?
It's time to boogie, baby. Let's drop that disco ball down and get this party started.
I'll tell you what Jake Wright has to worry about is that Lanini burps right in front of him, and Wright gets a nose full of empty gas tank in his windscreen there. The 92 car of Chris Lanini out in front. Watch the battle between Wright and Kinsella. Wright in the number 1 car, that survey system, I'm going to call it purple, yellow, and gold. If your rods and cones are better than mine, you pick out the colors. Behind him, in the Get Dipped machine, the 41 car, Andrew Kinsella, blue and black. The pace car is in. Lanini stays out. The green flag is waving, and Chris Lanini gets a great jump.
Wow.
6 miles between him and the gingham flag, the checkered flag. Oh, look at this! Wright is loose, and it looks like Kinsella is going to get the spot. Kinsella now right behind Lanini. Lanini comes across. The car is still full song. 5 miles to go. Dipping underneath is Wright. Using a pick is Kinsella.
Wow.
Lanini has lost first, and now he's on the low side. He's going to make the champion go around the top. He does. Kinsella's still racing. He's found a third. The Bakersfield driver of Guerin gets underneath him. Up front, diving in deep is Wright on the inside of 1. They're side by side out of 2. The momentum goes to Kinsella as they are working 4 laps to go. Kinsella leaving the inside open for Wright if he wants it.
Man, tires roll, and Lanini's just getting ruled by everybody right now, unfortunately.
But he's still out there. He's fallen back several spots, but the car's still racing. Galvin way off the pace in 3rd position, not going to be able to get there. Look at Andrew have a catch Kinsella. He's got a 2-car length lead coming out of 4. Crossing the line now, there'll be 2 to go. 2 miles between him and his first win in a long, long time. He's beginning to distance himself from Wright. I don't think Jake has anything for him. Right now, Kinsella out there trying to be perfect. Smooth as blended whiskey, hitting his marks, keeping that car right where it wants it. He comes off of 4 with a 6-car length lead. It is Andrew have a catch Kinsella. We talked about the bloom falling off the rose in the pre-race show. Well, maybe the commentators spoke too early.
Lanini's out of fuel.
Lanini has run out of gas, but it's not going to matter to Andrew Kinsella. All he's got to do is get the car across the line. He comes through 4. Round number 17. The hashtag nailed at 150 goes to Andrew Kinsella. 2nd place to Jake Wright. Jason Galvin gets 3rd.
Man.
Lanini is going to come. Is he still hasn't come across the start line yet?
No, not yet.
Come on,
Not
Chris.
yet.
He's scooting up in his chair. He's making it work. He's using his Flintstone feet.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it, Soup. He's going to do it.
He finishes on the lead lap. 28 seconds down, but it was worth the price of admission. Oh my goodness, that is the Lionheart IndyCar Series at its best. Now, the racing is done here at the Magic Mile. Magic Mile? I like that. There we go. But we're not done. We'll take a short break, but we'll come back and we'll launch into the lock position post-race show. We'll run down the entire order, talk to all the drivers, and put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Magic Mile as we launch into the Lock Precision Rocketry post-race show. Super Crackers here to review the hashtag Nailed It 150 that you just saw here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Now, this is only the second time that the Lionheart IndyCar Series has come to New Hampshire, but for over 30 years, the name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid and high-powered rocketry. Lock Precision manufactures a full line of high-quality precision-fit components to meet your building, repairing, and customizing needs. For more information, visit lockprecision.com. And remember, fly hard, fly safe, fly lock. All right, it's time to run down your final standings, and he's back. The rose is well blooming right now, quite healthy, red and luscious. Andrew Kinsella, the rookie, picks up the win ahead of Jake Wright as he distanced himself. They were nose to tail to start, and Kinsella drove away from the two-time champion. Jake Wright had to settle for second. Jason Galvin in the hunt for most of the race, finishing third. How about Tony Schowen? A nice fourth-place finish from him. Fellow rookie trying to hang on to the back of Kinsella's coattails is Michael Goodman. Another top five finish for that driver, though. Consistency from him. Joe Branch, Justin Weaver go 6th and 7th. A nice run from Weaver. Matthew Mercer, 8th. Vincent Blumenthal, 9th. And I cannot say enough about Brian Greenlee's 10th place finish. His best performance so far this season, by far. Congratulations, Brian, to a nice performance. Sean?
Super, we're going with Justin, Bob, and Weaver. I can't remember. Anyway, going back to 11th, we've got Dandy Dan Guerin. Boy, what could have been for him. Bad luck there at the end on that second to last caution. Robert Blue in there, 12th. 13th, going to go to Woody Mahan. Jeez, what could have been for him? He could have won this thing tonight. Yep. James Corolla with a 14th place finish. Pierre Degla, 15th. Chris Lanini, 16th. Hey, man. That was a gutsy call, and it almost worked out for him. So hats off to Chris Lanini there for 16th to 9. He started 32nd. George Anzalo with a 17th place finish. Jack Bogan, 18th. 19th, going to go to Scott Johnson. And Big Joe Hassert, the Big Joe Show, going to round out your top 20.
Then we get to guys who were 80 laps down or more. Brandon Littkeman, Adam Blocker, Christopher, Brian Yazik, Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, Ed King Tutwiler had his issues, Peter Edwins, Ron Hacker, Jason Robarge, Bob Mikas, Scott Bolster, David Altman, the Racing Kangaroo, back there in 33rd position, rounds it out. 33 drivers took the grid, and there you have a complete rundown through the field. All right, Sean, it's that time of the broadcast where it's interview time. I'm going to let you talk to our winner because I don't want him to know that I was criticizing him earlier on in the pre-race show. So I'm going to let you do all the work as you talk to Andrew. Have a catch, Kinsella.
Andrew, great race, eh?
That was unbelievable. I think I passed the field 2 times over trying to get through from when I screwed up my qualifying, and man, that was so much fun. Hats off to Jake. That was an awesome battle. Pretty much from the second to last stop there. It was great.
Well, why don't you cover that for us real quick? What happened in qualifying?
I had to have a big lift coming out of 2 in my qualifying lap, so I should have been up near the front, and really I should have just stopped after my first lap and reset for my doing a second lap, but I thought I didn't lift enough that it would affect me, but I did, and just put myself way behind the 8 ball, but man, it made for an intense, exciting race.
Well, I mean, you've got this battle for the rookie championship. We'll talk about the points championship in a moment, but I mean, you're going toe to toe with Michael Goodman in this battle for the rookie championship. He manages to finish 5th, and you do exactly what you need to and put another win under your belt here in this season. And man, you're quickly here in season 5. You're becoming a Lionheart IndyCar legend here. Already in your young career here in the league.
Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it. And yeah, Michael, he's a heck of a driver too. He came from, I think, 30th to 5th, so he was all week in practice as well. I think he said he messed up his qualifying as well, so he was back with me, and it was fun coming to the front with him, and I managed to get up beside him and make a pass on him at some point in the race, and it's always a pleasure racing with guys like Jason and Jake and Michael. They're just so clean, and it was such a great race.
Andrew Soup here. I want to talk about Racing Line. I thought that the car combination and the setup and the track made for some great racing. Boy, the top side looked like the place to be, but the bottom almost could work, huh?
So the bottom worked really well for me, actually. I was surprised, actually, I found a certain spot that if I hit it, I was actually a little bit faster on the bottom than I was on the top, and I spent most of the race trying to do that. But then that last restart, I knew I had to go for Jake on the outside because he was going to dive to the inside on turn one, and that was my only shot at it, really.
Well, congratulations on the win. It's been a while since that first win that started off the season. Good, you got another one under your belt before we close up shop. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to thank AlaskaPlastiDipGarage.com. Came on board midway through the season, and I'm pleased to finally get a win for them. And they got a great product out there. Check out their website. Check out the shop there. It's really cool product. It's basically this product where you spray it on like a paint on your car, but it's comes off just like a wrap, so it doesn't damage the paint underneath. So if you're into modding or tuning your car and you want a new color on there, doesn't void your warranty, doesn't do anything like that, and it comes right off. It's this really cool product. Check it out. AlaskaPlastiDipGarage.com.
There you have it. Nice job, Andrew Kinsella, our race winner today. Sean?
Boy, I'll tell you what, and what a show he put on, Soup. But, Jake Wright, we got to talk to him because, boy, that was such a battle. Jake, talk about the fight there with Andrew Kinsella there over the last several laps. That had to be fun.
It was fun, but I'm beat after that. On that restart, he had an amazing start, and I just kind of fell back, and I chose the wrong lane a few laps later in the corner, and he got me. So props to him on his amazing drive tonight. But second place, that's pretty good. I would say I wasn't expecting that from this place.
What were you expecting, Jake?
I was expecting a wall.
It did seem to, just tell us. I mean, it was a problem for everybody. What is the toughest part about that transition, getting off these exits?
Yeah, I didn't have much issues with it tonight, but I don't know. I didn't have much issues. I think the wall just comes up super quick, so you got to watch out for that. And sometimes you give it a little too much wheel, and the rear end goes around, which I got loose a few times off the corners, but it wasn't anything major, I don't think.
Jake, when near the end, when you had Chris Lanini involved in that, were you a little worried about him running out of fuel in front of you?
No, I was more thinking he was going to make it, so I was giving it everything I had. He could have run out of fuel in front of me, but he didn't. But I don't know. It was a good battle there at the end. It was fun.
Well, Jake, this points championship is it's getting tight. It's getting tight, buddy. You guys are locked up there at the top when we got started tonight. I haven't seen the points yet as we wrap this one up, but do you think a championship is in store for you here as we head down the stretch, or you're not ready to wrap anything up yet, are you?
No, not yet. I hope I can get my third, but Dan's right there, and he's an amazing driver, and we still have 6 races left, I think. He can definitely win it, and I can definitely win it. I don't know where third place is. I haven't looked at the points after this race just yet, but I hope we can get a third. We're gonna try.
It does seem like it's been about as tough as it's been all season for you, doesn't it?
It has. The second half of the season has definitely been better than the first, so it's been a more or less a comeback season from dead last in the points to up here fighting with Dan for the championship.
Well, Jake, we will see you next time, buddy. Great run tonight. Congratulations on getting on the podium.
Thank you.
Jake Wright, your second place finisher today. Now we'll go to the man who I thought had a real chance to win this because I like the way his car was handling early on. Of course, we're talking about the guy from Bakersfield, Jason Galvin. Jason, you have a copy?
I got you, bud.
Boy, your car looked really good on the top side early when you're working your way through traffic. You were right up there, just didn't have enough for those top two guys.
Yeah, I didn't think I ever did, really. I made too many mistakes. I spun under yellow, and I hope you guys didn't get that, because it was the most embarrassing thing in my life. And I lost the bonus point for a clean race because of it. And I don't even know how I did it. We were just cruising under yellow. The yellow came out and back straight. We went to 3. I lifted. Halfway through the corner, around I went. So, that kind of frayed me a little bit mentally. And then I made a mistake on a restart and let Andrew get by me. And at that point, I knew I was pretty much racing for third. So it was a great race. Jake and Andrew, man, congratulations to Andrew. And cool to have the Alaska Plasti Dip cars up there, 1 and 3. And Mahan ran a good race. So getting Plasti Dip some good time up there. But that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Better than I thought it would turn out, because this place is tough. Tough to say the least. So
you got to plastic dip your real world race car. I heard you had some success up there today.
Yeah. We won our first race in the real car on Saturday night. So I don't know. We're not plastic dipping that thing anytime soon. I might frame it. I might build the biggest shadow box in the world and hang it on the wall somewhere. But that's about all we got for that thing. So we'll see if we can't do that again this weekend. That'd be fun.
Now, Jason, you're in your first full season in that ride, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
We ran all the races last year, but
you did. Okay.
But I think we had 3 races where we didn't get out of lap 5. So
Right. You had some misfortune. Now
had
this season, you get to Kern County Raceway Park last weekend, and you get that win, and you don the checkered flag tie on Monday morning on the
Yes,
broadcast.
sir.
I saw those pictures, buddy. Boy, what's it like? Just tell us real quick. What's it like getting that first win?
Oh man, it was I hate to over amp it, but it was really one of those like life altering moments. I'm fortunate. I come from a pretty successful family when it comes to drag racing, and I've always been taught that you don't let a moment pass you by, because people can take everything they want from you. Your house could burn down, you could lose all your pictures, but as long as you're breathing, you always have the memories, and that was cool. And I had a lot of time to think about it, because we took the lead on lap 11 and checked out, and I had a lot of time to sit there and think about what that meant to me, growing up wanting to drive a real race car, getting the chance, working, going through the issues we have, flying through the air into the wall last year.
I remember that. I remember you talking about that.
Things that go through your head, and then to cross the finish line and realize that, nobody handed that to you. I started 5th in that race. We raced side by side for 6 laps for the lead. I drove away. I ran the fastest lap of the race. That I earned that in every way that you can earn a win, and it was one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced, and just so fortunate, because I know there's so many people, heck, just in this league and across iRacing, that would love the chance to live out their real dream, even if it's on the small scale of running the Division 3 series at their local half-mile speedway. And for me to get to do that was pretty darn cool.
Well, I understand they're going to be using your Victory Lane pose as the new caricature in there, the iRacing logo. We'll look forward to seeing that. But hey, congratulations, buddy. Really happy for you and the real world success you had, and of course, getting another podium here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, my friend.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. Just got to thank everybody at AGR. Michael Goodman was so good tonight. He probably deserved to finish better than 5th. Justin Weaver's come on board here with us unofficially, and it's been just a
Are you breaking news? Are you breaking news?
Well, I mean, he's been with us since he came in. He's been running kind of with us, but he's been just a phenomenal addition to the team channel, at least. And George had some bad luck. George and Jason both had good cars tonight and just had some bad luck. So a lot of fun. Big thank you again to Alaska Plasti Dip Garage for picking up the sponsorship they have with all the cars in the race at the end of the year there. And to you guys for everything that you guys do at GSRC and iRacing, and just a cool night. Great points nights for us. We're knocking on the door for 5th. I was just looking at last year's points, and I've cut my instance per race by 66% from last year, and I'm 1 top 10 and 1 top 5 away from tying last year with 6 races to go. So all you can do is try to be better every week, and so far this year we have been. So I'll take it.
All right, Jason, again, congratulations. We'll see you next time, my friend. That is Jason Galvin, driver of the number 42 Plastic Dip Garage, KGET sponsored DW12 Soup. Man, that was a barn burner tonight. Classic barn burner here on GSRC.
That was a good one. You heard Jason talk about don't let a moment pass you by as one of the evils of the smartphone. You know, you put down your camera and absorb what's going on. Stop recording it. It's happening there. Let your memory be your camera. That's this. And get off my lawn. All right, now. Let's get to the thank yous now here before I start to get on my soapbox. I got to thank everybody at hey, these are some good folks at First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. For more information, please visit firstmedequipment.com. HPP Simulations. Now these guys are really important here because they're offering a great price. Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. Now I've looked up what CNC means and it's really good. HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com.
Okay, now I said before this broadcast started, I was not going to have a case of the giggles tonight again.
You're so close. Come on.
Because I do not want that to become my new nickname. Anyway, we definitely want to thank Von Hansen's Meats for sponsoring the Countdown to Green, the new old-fashioned meat market and butcher shop. And of course, we want to thank Lock Precision Rocketry for sponsoring the post-race shows Fly Hard, Fly Safe, Fly Lock. And thanks to everyone the Lionheart IndyCar Series for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. And today we want to thank Team #Nailed It for sponsoring this event.
And there we go. It's my turn. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. And the original music you heard today is thanks to Eric Eckelman and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them. Now the important part that I worried was in the script. But Crackers has this for you right now.
That's right. The Lionheart IndyCar Series will return in 2 weeks, September 27th from Mid-Ohio. Boy, you don't want to miss that one. That's a great track. GSRC will be there. We hope you join us then. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. All one word, globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel. And Facebook, type in Global Sim Racing Channel. You'll find us there, Soup.
Folks, we're almost through with this broadcast. If you're still with us,
they are, Soup. They are.
Bless you. Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Sean Crackers Ambrose, our director, Amjad Jama, and the camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.